Hello everybody, my name is Kriva, and this is the actual start of our Let's Play of Sid Meier's Civilization 5 Brave New World. And I'm going to, if you want to see what I chose, what you see now on the screen, go watch part 0 of this Let's Play. But for now we're going to click Start Game and listen to what our beautiful voiceover actor, I don't know his name, and he's probably not as epic as... what's his name again? Leonard Nimoy, famous for playing Spock on Star Trek. He did the voices in Civilization 4, and that's still something that's really amazing. And when discussing Civ and asking how good is Civ 5, people always look at Civilization 4 Beyond the Sword. And I'm really enjoying it. I do like the advantages of the multiplayer in Civ 5. I've tried to play Civ 4 multiplayer before with friends, and it always gave me a desync. And I really haven't seen that very often happen in Civ 5 yet. But now I'm gonna shut up for a little bit and just start this game. And here we go.
All hail his most respected and magnanimous emperor, Pedro II of Brazil. It was with great insight and unshakable dignity that you ruled the Brazilian Empire for over 50 years, ushering in a time of lasting peace and prosperity. Your reputation as a stern but fair leader was never blemished by controversy, as your unwavering dedication to the people of Brazil provided hope and established the kingdom's position in South America. Your scholarly pursuits and staunch defense of freedom of speech led to the creation of several institutions of higher learning, strengthening Brazil's sense of national identity. Revered Emperor Pedro, your people long for a return to the peaceful days when you walked among them, hearing their stories and reassuring them of a bright future. Will you once again lead your kingdom to prosperity? Can you build a civilization that stands the test of time?
Welcome to actual Civ. I do have to say this loading time is incredibly fast because I'm used to it not yet being done loading after the whole voiceover has passed on. So now it was only halfway, and that should only before it only happened on really small maps. So here it is, our first settler and warrior for Brazil, and holy crap, this is a bad starting position. Because, well, I do not see any resources. I'm gonna put up the panel for research because that's what we always have up in this sort of game. The hex grid can go off because it makes it a little bit beautiful, but when you want to see stuff, the map options here, I'm gonna put on trade route for when we actually get to them. And yield icons are a bit messy, but I've turned them on for our civilian units, so when we have a worker or a settler, you will see them. But I do want to see resource icons, and here is the problem. I do not see any. Now, there are a few ways. Normally, the game always gives you something, and we're in the middle of a highly forested and jungled area, which is decent for Brazil's special unit, special improvement, and we see one free space, so that is likely to actually be a resource, but we don't know it yet. So it might be horses, it might be iron. But what we're going to do is we're still going to settle in place because it will take too long to actually find a new, or we could check one to the right and see if we get one or two squares revealed, or to the left might not be as interesting. Okay, we are right next to wine, and for the sake of the game, this is a marsh, which is not a really good start, but building a city will actually remove the marsh. So we're next to wine, which is our happiness resource. Improving it will give us more happiness, which is basically what we want as Brazil. We want as much happiness as possible to get golden ages, so we can profit from having a lot of tourism and, excuse me again, more great artists, writers and musicians, which is one of the changes to this game. So we are going to settle right here, And hopefully we'll see. There it is. There are 2 citrus to the north as well. So we actually do get 2 resources. We have 3 hills really close by we can make into mines, because every city produces food and food, production, and gold, and other stuff next to it, but those are the 3 main ones. And apparently Rio de Janeiro is our capital, while the actual capital of Brazil was moved to a completely newly constructed city called Brasilia, I think 20, 30 years ago now maybe. But so Rio de Janeiro is the capital, and not many people would probably know of Brasilia anyway. And now we can go decide what we want to do. Now, what I want to do is decide what we want to research. And looking around us, we have three resources that will need a plantation to work, and a plantation needs calendar. So when we look at the technology tree, you can see that you have a ton to research before the end of the game. And usually by the end of the game you research so fast, but they actually put in a slowdown mechanic into the game. But basically, calendar is over here. This is where you get a plantation to construct. You can also build a stoneworks and Stonehenge because of that. Now, wonders might probably not be the one thing I will go for, but next to calendar we will also need bronze working pretty fast, because the only way to improve these 2 citruses is to remove the jungle that they're on. And sadly, we will need iron working for that. But we don't want to destroy the other ones because of our special upgrade, the Brazilwood camp. So we'll go back into the technology tree. We'll definitely start on pottery. I do always like to go for a shrine really early to start getting a religion, and that's a gods and kings mechanic, and we will talk about that when we actually invent when we build a shrine and can adapt a what's it called again, pantheon. A pantheon would be basically you revere one god, and from that pantheon you develop an actual religion. So we start on pottery, and the mechanic I was talking about, for every city you build, you will get technology cost will increase. And what I've seen is on a standard map, this will actually be 5%. So because this is a bigger map in which you are supposed to expand a bit more, they will actually allow you to get more. Now, when looking at production, you can never go wrong with building a scout first. It will give you a fast exploration around you, give you a chance to get your goodie huts, and it will give you an idea where you want to build a second city. A monument will also be good at one point, definitely with the way I want to develop the nation. I really like to go into the Liberty tree and basically build out my empire pretty fast to at least a city size of 5 or 6 big at the minimum by the beginning of the medieval age. But yeah, so we are going to build a scout, and definitely because we are in such a heavily forested and jungle area, the scout basically runs normal speed through everything. A warrior has 2 moves, but it used both moves to get into a forest. So next turn it can definitely instantly go to that hill to the east, but it could not go anywhere where it needs to cross a jungle or a forest first. But where we're going with why we have to build a monument is because of social policies. You will always get 1 free culture per turn from your palace, but beyond that you need to build buildings so you can get social policies. And here you see one of the first changes to A Brave New World. There used to be 10 policies, and the policy looks basically like you adopt it and then you have 5 sort of tenets that you can put in, and when you have them all you get an extra bonus. So for the edition, accepting it gives you 3 culture, and getting them all will also give you 15% growth and a free aqueduct. One big change is that every policy tree, including the ideologies, has now an associated wonder to it. So only when you pick tradition can you actually build the Hanging Gardens. Only when you get liberty can you build the pyramids and honor its statue of Zeus, piety. They actually shifted back towards the beginning of the game because, well, religion really needs started in one of the first few turns, and piety is purely religion based now. Because that's the other change, but they put piety back to the ancient era, and because they split off piety with aesthetics, so they took all the faith stuff for religion, put it in piety, took out everything that has to do with culture, and put that in aesthetics. Same thing has happened with commerce. Commerce is now purely about gold and trading, and they put most of the water stuff into exploration, but exploration is also useful for archaeology, which is also one of the new mechanics, but that is basically a late mid-game thing, so we only get there when we need it. And the way I want to play, we will definitely visit archaeology because we're going for the culture actually. Another change would be that rationalism and piety are not mutually exclusive anymore, and the only exclusivity that would then be left would be the ideologies. So before aesthetics and exploration were added, we actually had autocracy, freedom, and order here, and these two would not be here, and commerce and rationalism would be to the right. But they put those three now in social policies, and as you can see, in ideologies. And you can only unlock these when you get to the modern era or when you build a third factory. So basically, when you industrialize, you can decide what kind of nation are we going to be. And it expands the culture game more because you have a lot more to put culture in. But the old culture victory, you were basically at one point forced to take one of the social policy trees and just put your points in that to get to that victory. It was not that interesting. So that's the change to social policies, but to explain what I will do, I'm going down liberty. Liberty will give you one culture per city. It's definitely not as strong as getting tradition, but liberty will already be at the same level as tradition when you have your third city. And because I want to expand to at least 5 or 6, that just by adopting liberty over tradition, when I build my fourth city, liberty becomes better. But I also want liberty because it will give you more, give you a free settler, it will give you a free worker, and it starts a golden age pretty early, which is good, and you get even more culture from, it will cost you less culture to get a new policy because the cost will go up the more cities you build, but because you want to build more cities, they will make that culture cost less. It will also give you happiness for each connected city and less unhappiness from total amount of citizens, which is also pretty damn good. And liberty will give you a free great person of choice. And that is the key to starting our culture victory. We will get a writer, musician, or artist to build a great work. And once we get to that point, I will talk more about the change they did to great artists. Now, it's been over 10 minutes just doing our first turn, and basically, we're now number 1, but that will change really soon. If the Shoshone are in this game, they will blow up above me because, you get score for territory, and they will have the most territory in the first turn. So that would be a funny way to know that the Shoshone are actually in the game, and we didn't put them here ourselves. And culture overview will come when it's necessary. So we're going to next turn and see someone with 23, which is either the Shoshone or it's someone of the AI popping a goody hut on ancient ruins. They're always called goody huts because from the early civilization games they look like huts and they give you goodies. So that would basically be why. And why they're called goody huts. So, but yeah, getting a tech is usually worth 4 points on that victory skill. And here it is, our first ruins. Now, if we were playing the Shoshone, we would actually choose what we get from it, but the first 3 turns has not a lot to do except for moving your first warrior. And then you get twice the things to do once you actually finish building your scout. So we're definitely going into the ruins, and as you see, we found some survivors from a previous civilization, and from gratitude they just settled in Rio de Janeiro, and this is a really good start. We just skipped, I think, 5 or 6 turns, maybe even 7, for our first extra citizen, so Rio can start growing even faster. We will be ahead in population, and when you look down here, we find stone and citrus, and we'll keep moving, and we found a cow. So here might be a very good place for our second city. And when we look at, wow, there are some things added here. The advisors are now here. Okay. Anyway, when we look at demographics, we're suddenly at number 1. Because everyone else, maybe one of the other AI who luckily got the same ruin, they are still at 1,000 people, because every 1 point of population in one city is worth exponentially more to the total population of your nation. The calculation is a bit strange. So if you have 3 cities with more than 30, with each 30 population, you might still have a bigger population on the demographics than someone who has 6 cities with 20 population, which is a total of 120 versus 90, but it just does it count that differently. And you can also see here basically soldiers who has the strongest army, but these values are calculated with your strength of units, and the AI on any level above Prince, which is the normal difficulty, will get an extra unit or 2, and gradually the more difficult it is. So they will always start to be ahead. And when looking at this demographic of the biggest square kilometer versus the land we have, and that we're second, it basically tells me the Shoshone are in this game. So at one point we will find them. But for now there's still not a lot to do. But yeah, so it was a very good goody hut pop, but what you really would like in the beginning is either a culture pop. We found another. Wow, there are many cows here. It's like someone left their ranch fence open or something. You really want either a technology, because that shaves off a lot of stuff you want to research, or you want a culture pop, so you can get to that first social policy within your first 10 turns. That's basically the most profitable ruins, and we receive gold, which will be good in the long run, but for now it's not optimal. But it will at one point save us from bankruptcy, because of the addition of trade to this game in this expansion. Oh, hello, we're going to be neighbors to the Netherlands, because that's what the orange color means, and we will have to get our settler out pretty fast to settle near the citrus, this stone, and at least one of these cows. We might be able to scoot on this hill for some extra protection, because we don't want the Netherlands to expand northward in our territory. They get crabs, so we might trade one of citrus at one point. And we'll go to the west and we'll meet William. Hello, William. What do you have to say?
Ben Willem van Oranje, stadhouder over de Nederlanden. Behoeft gij iets? Mij staat nog veel te doen.
Oh, that's why I put him in the game. He talks my own language, Dutch, and it's just so funny to hear him say it, so... But yeah, he wasn't actually ever leader of the Netherlands. He was the leader of the revolution that freed the Netherlands as a whole from its Spanish overlords. Well, that would maybe be a bit harsh to say it like that, but back in that day, we were very much We very much unappreciated the Spanish because they were Catholic, yet the Dutch were Protestant for the most part. In the south of the Netherlands, the Spanish rule was a bit stronger and people were still Catholic. And so, but yeah, he started the revolution. He was eventually shot in, I think it was Delft. I don't remember this part of my own history, sadly enough, which I should. So he was never actually the ruler, but he's still the father of the fatherland. And as he just said, vader des vaderlands, vader des vaderland, because he was basically the one who made the Dutch free again. So yeah, it's I really love finding him. The capital city will 100% be Amsterdam. And what I'm not sure if they changed anything to the way that William works, because the Dutch have always been a very trade-oriented city, and so I will quickly check if they changed anything when it comes. Okay, they still this is still the same. They retain 50% of the happiness benefits from a luxury resource if your last copy of it is traded away. And they have the Sea Bagger, which is still the same, and the Polder, which is one of the most powerful things you can build as an improvement from a worker. It gives you +3 food, and with a certain tech you get production, I believe as well. Production or gold, or even both at one point. So as the Netherlands, you want to start settling marshlands because, or floodplains in the desert, but everyone wants floodplains. But marshlands are normally only 1 food, but the Dutch can turn it into 4 food plus production plus gold. It's just insane, and that's basically our tradition as the Dutch of regaining land from the ocean. Pretty that's a very thematic way of using that, and we built polders to do that. So yeah, let's go another turn. We haven't found our culture pop yet, but our scout will definitely turn north after this. Wow, we definitely want to get on this hill because marble is amazing. It's a luxury, and here's our here is a ruin which we explore with our warrior. So this will be our second city position. Next to mountain will also give us some access to different buildings in the future, which can only be built if you're close to a mountain. And we see that we also get bananas, which is maybe one of the staple resources of actual Brazil. So what we want to build now, because we're not going for tradition, is the monument, because we want to start our culture as early as possible. And yes, another turn. One more turn. And this is the worst campment ruin pop that you can get. It says it reveals evidence of recent barbarian activity, but it simply spawned them for you. So this barbarian encampment wasn't here before, this one wasn't here before either. So damn, it doesn't help me at all, and actually might make it worse for us in the future. And with our scout, we're going to check on top of a hill to see if there's anything in the neighborhood, but there's no thing yet, which might mean that there's another civ very close by who just popped them already instead of me, or there's no one yet, but they just didn't spawn on that spot yet. Okay, just keep on looking. Oh, hello, this would be Arabia. And this might be a small issue, because Arabia is one of those that has been changed significantly, at least their ability. We'll quickly look at it, and your name was... No, you were not Ahmad, were you? Oh, I didn't remember. Harun al-Rashid. Basically, their new ability is caravans gain 50% extended range, but also your trade routes spread the home city's religion twice as effectively. And oil resources are doubled because Arabia has so much freaking oil. And Arabia itself has the bazaar, and the bazaar has been slightly changed. Actually, no, it's still mostly the same. But yeah, those changes are quite important. and strong for Arabia. Now that we've got pottery, we could beeline for the Great Library and start working on a lot of tech early on to give us a free tech, or we can go for the plantation, which is what I'm gonna do. Hang on. No, I'm not gonna go for the plantation just yet, because we don't even have a worker to do anything. So we'll simply go for, the Great Library might be a possibility for us. But yeah, so to the west of us is probably no more Goody Hut to discover, so we'll get our scout and go to the east quickly. And oh, this is a hill, so we cannot get there with our warrior. And apparently the Dutch have not gone north because we found another Goody Hut with our warrior. So we just keep exploring, and I really don't like to put units on automate, so despite that might be better for the flow of a let's play, there's things that I like to do with this game that I will do. There are also things that I like that I definitely don't do, because what I really like is to play at marathon speed instead of at standard speed. So, and I usually go for a huge map instead of a large one. And we just got a technology which is arguably the best thing to get from a ruin, and it's animal husbandry, which means we can start building caravans with other people, and it means we reveal horses on the map. And we find horses to the north but not here, so this might be iron at one point, or maybe even something completely different. Oh wow, this location just got even better. We really need to get... wow, we have so many resources around us. We really need to get a settler out. Oh, very fast. We might not... No. After this monument, we might have to make one warrior and then straight to a settler, because I cannot let this piece of land go to the Dutch at all. They might not like me because I start settling his land, but it's not going to happen. This will be mine, and mine alone. And to the north I can also connect to the water here. So here will be another city spot for us. So, but that will be the one I will settle with my free settler. So we have, because there might be a civilization right here. So, but yeah, it's a bit crowded. It's a large map with 13 players, but the way it looks now, this will definitely, we have to go there. So let's see, how fast can you build anything? How much does it cost to ooze? Yeah, it costs 500 for a settler, but a warrior is still 200, and that we will not make very soon. But yeah, right now our production is quite low in the city, but we could turn it up and grow slower for one more production. But apparently, because of the amount our palace gives for free, it actually doesn't make any difference right now to change. But we will want to get a worker out soon too, and start on making these into, well, at least this and this into a mine. I know that the Brazilwood camp should be effective, or more effective, on a jungle, but we need the production right now. So we just got attacked by this barbarian, and we're gonna stick our warrior here for now. See, to our northwest there's not yet anyone. Arabia might probably be here, but they will likely start in the desert, because that's how Arabia should work, and close to oil resources. They almost always get a free oil resource really close to their capital starting position. But if they did not settle in place, which everyone did of the AI never really goes to a different position. And here we have our first promotion of our warrior. So we can get drill, which means that our fighting strength in hills is stronger, as well as in forest and in jungle. And because we're going to keep a lot of the jungle around our city instead of chopping it down, what usually is done by most of the civilizations, we are going to get the drill promotion. And we took a total of 45 hit points and damage from these two, but they're weakened now, so usually a red barbarian doesn't attack you anymore, so we're still going to put him on fortified healing just to some get some more experience from the yellow barbarians. So they do like to, well, fight you that way. So yeah, it's too bad that we did not get our culture pop from a ruin, but we are going to look for them to our northeast and definitely see if there's anyone in the vicinity over there. As you can see now, the barbarian, the yellow one, even left us alone. And we can now win this fight, and it's good that we do this because otherwise the Arabian warrior would have beaten us. And now we get some gold for free because every encampment you clear will give you gold. And that's the end of this episode. We are on turn 15, and we've talked a lot about the new culture stuff, at least how the social policies work, because they were used to be the main way for cultural victory, but they aren't anymore. But they're still quite important to the main meat of the game. And we have decided where we want to expand to, and this location, it has 2 happiness resources, it has 2 cows, it has horses, and it has stone, and if it can expand fast enough when it comes to its cultural borders, it can have a 3rd cow as well. And let's just hope that the Netherlands really focuses on getting coastal cities, because that's how the Netherlands should work. So this will be the real first part. Thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying the way I am doing this Let's Play of Civilization. It's basically just talking about the way that I play the game, and I really like to play this game, and I play it a lot. So thank you, and see you on the next episode.